What's up, everybody?
What's up?
Welcome to the very first episode of the 412 Leadership Podcast. We are so excited to finally be launching this and get it to you guys. So, starting off, how's the week been?
It's been going good. NFL started this week.
I know, NFL, fantasy footballers out there. We're all fantasy footballers. Yep. We're in the same league.
We watched Red Zone for about 3 hours.
Yeah, we were watching before this. We're struggling right now.
Yeah, I can't watch Red Zone, man. That's too much.
Yes,
There's so much going on.
I think
my brain was hurting.
All right,
but the boys play tonight, so
yeah,
the
that'll
boys
be
play
good.
tonight.
All right, I'm sorry.
So, I mean, we're just so excited to be able to start this. We hope you guys are having a good week.
Yes.
Any icebreakers, like anything?
Yeah.
You got?
All right. Here we go. If you were to have $1 million,
I knew it.
what would you do?
This question every time.
All right. Different
Million?
one. Different.
Oh, different one.
If you could go back in time and do anything, what would you do?
Ooh.
I would go to the 80s and just live. Like, I wouldn't do anything specific. Just
What?
like,
just live in
just
the
yeah,
stars?
like the cars they had then, and like
Yeah.
Okay, man,
going to the diner with the boys.
Yeah. All
You know
right.
what I mean?
Oh, going back to any time. Probably. I want to be there like the night of Jesus's, like whenever they arrest him and all that. I would want to be like there to see all that. I feel like that'd be crazy. Like
Oh.
watching Judas like betray him and everything.
That'd be cool.
Like and then
Actually,
Peter chopping the
that's
dude's
not
ear
cool,
off.
but like, you know.
I mean, I think it'd be cool to be there.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, like in watching Peter like chop the dude's
Yeah,
ear
yeah.
off, like.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go to the dinosaur age.
Ooh,
I would so ride a dinosaur.
Bro,
I would fly on a pterodactyl.
really?
That would be.
how would you get on
That's-
a pterodactyl?
I don't know. I'll figure it out.
You guys let us know
Yeah.
what you would
What would
do
you do?
if you could go back in time anywhere. So we'll kind of do an icebreaker like that every single episode just to kind of get going. Now, kind of hopping in, today's episode topic is what is a young leader? We're going to be talking about kind of
Yes.
what that is and kind of defining how just the setup of a young leader. And that was actually in our intro trailer on Spotify. It was the most voted for thing in the poll for topics. So we're going to go ahead and cover that one. So first point we have, obviously, what do you guys define as a young leader?
I think a young leader is somebody who impacts their generation. You
Yeah.
know, like in the school or at church. Like,
Yeah.
there's always going to be a leader there. So.
For sure.
I think a young leader is someone that has influence over other people, and like people look up to you. It doesn't matter age or anything.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is like Chad Beach said it this way. He was like, a leader, it doesn't matter what kind of leader you are. If you have influence, that automatically makes you a leader because if you're influencing somebody, the leadership is there. And I think really young leaders is just the people that are, it doesn't have to be, you can be a bad young leader.
Oh, yeah.
Like you can be a bad leader or a good leader. Young leader is just somebody with influence that's leading a group of people in one way or another. And I think that's really what you can define as a young leader. And kind of like what we want to do here is build up the good side of those young leaders, the ones that are good values and just based on your faith and other things, just building up a group of young leaders that's going to build a great next generation of good people.
You'll hear us reference Chad Beach, Rich Wilkerson, and
Chris Hodges,
Chris Hodges
a lot. Those are our guys. So the second thing, why are young leaders important?
Because I feel like if we didn't have leaders, I feel like we don't know where to go next, you know?
Yeah.
Like, even in history, like, just for example, like, I don't know, a president, like, they wouldn't have continued
Yeah.
with our nation and stuff. So I
Yeah.
guess that kind of plays in with religion and stuff. Like, if you don't have a leader, then you can't continue growing and stuff,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, if you don't set that culture.
And like everyone needs someone to look up to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, just like see what they do and like follow.
It's like you can't do it on your own. And for me, it's like why? I mean, it's important to me because like if you have like leaders in the other generation, and then you bring up a generation that doesn't have a leader, that generation's just going to crumble, and then the generation after probably won't have a leader either.
Yeah.
It's just once you knock out a generation of leaders, there's none left because you can't build up. And I think it's so important. It's just because when we build up young leaders, and when we get so many. Too many leaders is a good thing because you have people all going after the same goal and really just trying to lead our generation to a next level in faith and just expressing God's love and grace for everybody.
Yeah. But there's also like bad leaders, like you said, so
Yeah.
that plays a big role into it.
I think that's
so.
important, and we'll talk about that for sure in one of our next episode is just kind of talking about how to be that good young leader and young Christian leader. Third thing we have on what is a young leader, what impacts do young leaders have?
Like, I really think, like, they can really change someone's life.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
for sure, like, if they are a bad young leader, like we said, like,
Yeah.
they could change their life completely in a bad way. Like, they could be getting arrested or something.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
like for example, like, Garrett helped me get closer to God. So, like, he was a leader to me. So,
Yeah.
And like I feel young leaders are needed because like if I were to step up and tell someone to come to motion night with me, it's better than a 60-year-old telling
Yeah.
his kid to go to motion
yeah.
night.
Yeah.
Motion night is our youth ministry service. So
Yeah, you guys
on
come
Wednesday.
out to motion night. Actually, this Wednesday, this will be out before then. So
Yeah.
this Wednesday, 6:30,
Mhm.
doors open here at City Hope Church at
6:30.
4301 Cedar Elm Lane. You guys come out. We'd love to see you. For me, impact of young leaders is like someone's going to impact your life in a way no matter what. And I think as young leaders, it's important for us to do that because when we start impacting our own generation, then they start impacting the people that are in their group. And it's like all it takes is a couple people to make something big. I mean, we've heard a lot of stories recently, just like Chad Veach, I guess. We'll go with Chad Veach here. Chad Veach talked about at Motion Conference. He started a prayer group in his school with like 4 people, and then over a span of 4 or 5 months, it grew to 200. And I think really that's what young leaders do is once you build up that group of young leaders, it turns into something huge and really just turns into a bunch of people chasing after God. And I think that's great. And then I'm going to throw in just another question on here with impacts. Like, what's been someone that's impacted you that like you could say relates to being like why we need a young leader?
You for sure,
Mhm.
because I think me and him came at around the same time. Well, maybe I came a little earlier. I don't remember. But when I met you, we immediately bonded together, and we all like started hanging out immediately,
Mhm.
and we've all like told through our hard and
Yeah.
good times. So for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And like past groups we've been in, it's always been like
Yeah.
us 3 and we've stayed together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like just in talks of like leaders, and I feel like I've had pastors like Pastor Gary and Pastor Caleb. They've been really good leaders and just led in a way that they help build you as young leaders and then help you be able to lead other people. And I think really that's why it's so important is because as leaders, your job isn't only to lead your people, but it's to help them lead others.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why like really young leaders are so important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna mention Motion Conference a lot too. So like,
Yeah, Motion Conference. You guys get on that too. It's we go to Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama, every year. It's an amazing trip.
Yep.
You guys
3
get
days.
plugged into that. So next thing, how do young leaders act, and like how do they go about themselves?
I think really like they're acting like them. Like you got to be
Mhm.
yourself,
Yeah.
but you got to be yourself in a good way. You know, if that makes sense. I'm not
Sure.
saying put a fake face on,
Yeah.
but like I'm just saying like you got to build yourself in a good way,
Yeah,
and then be yourself to lead those
Mhm.
people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I agree with that.
I think for me it's like really young leaders. A good young leader is someone who's going to walk out in their faith, and it's
Yeah.
not going to be something that they just do behind like in privacy.
Mhm.
Young leaders, Chad Veach again said it this way: act in public how you would in private,
Yeah.
and vice versa.
yeah.
And so if you are acting like something you're not in public, then that's not really a good young leader. A good young leader is going to be someone that walks in their faith and is just helping others. And something we posted the other day, servant leadership. That's what a good young leader is going to do. You have to be a servant. And I think servant leadership is so important because not only does it impact the people you're serving and leading, but it impacts yourself because it gives you just that feeling to want to give back. And for us, Mexico, we took a mission trip to Mexico. That was really big servant leadership. It's just like you want to do it. And I think
Yeah.
that really impacted me for sure.
Maybe we'll do a podcast one day.
Maybe next trip to Mexico we'll take the pod with us and we'll have some of our guys hop on. But I think just young leaders are just people that walk in their faith and they just live the way that they say they want to live, and they're not afraid to show it.
Yeah.
Actions speak way louder than words.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah. Now, why do we need young leaders?
Well, I think we kind of went over this already. Like,
yeah, you said like
Yeah, talk about
generation
the
needs
generation
young leaders.
impact.
Yeah.
So then, talk about it kind of this way, I guess. We can say it this way. Why do we need more?
mm,
Because I know it's like, well, we have enough.
Well, I think there's always people that don't know. Like, there's always people
Yeah.
that haven't found Christ yet.
Mhm.
So the
There's-
more we get, the more that'll be raised up.
Yeah. I
Have
think
someone look up.
There's always areas that can't be reached,
Mhm.
and that's why you need more.
2 is better than 1, they said. So.
Yeah, I think it's just important for that. And then, kind of a question that's not on here, like, when you see young leaders, like, what does that make you feel like? Kind of like,
Well, I feel like if you're a good young leader, well, nobody's perfect, a perfect leader.
Yeah.
Like, there's always next steps you got to go to, but I feel like when you're better, good enough for people just to rub off on you. So when you're just walking around
Yeah.
and you're happy and people are seeing you, then they want what you have.
for sure.
So
Yeah, it's like being a vessel
yeah,
for
exactly.
Christ.
Yeah. I think just like talking about rubbing off, like it's like when you're around people like that, it's like you want to be like them. It's almost like when you do that, it's just people that are all chasing after the same thing, and
Yeah.
that's what builds that
Yeah.
big group. And I think it's good.
And I don't remember who said it, but someone said like, don't let your let your actions, let people see it in your actions, not your words.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think it's just young leadership is just so important, and for us it hits home. We talked about it a little bit in intro video and just all that. It just hits home for us because we want to be those young leaders, and we're not perfect either. And I mean, that's why like a lot of the stuff that we'll talk about, it's either going to be from the Bible or from people who've mentored us or we've heard from, and we're still growing too through this. This is not just a way for us to help you guys. It's also us growing together as leaders and just growing a big culture of young leaders. And I think it's just really important. So we're not perfect young leaders at any standards at all. And so I think that's why it's just so important for us to have a group and just grow together. And that's what you guys are. And we're just super excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about culture, like, why is culture so important?
Culture is important because it builds who you are.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel. So like,
There's good culture, bad culture.
Yeah.
when you have a good firm culture, which here it's love God,
Love God, love people, give hope.
give hope. So if you have a solid, firm foundation, then you can just keep building, and it gets
Yeah.
better and better and better.
For sure. What do you think, culture?
I just think there's good and bad to it, and
Yeah.
kind of like culture rubs off on everyone, and it just matters on what kind of culture is getting rubbed off.
Yeah.
Like the culture today for our generation is like drugs and
Yeah.
alcohol and sex before marriage.
And we're going to talk about that in another episode, just how to be a young leader in today's culture.
Yeah.
Because I think that's something that you can't just discuss shortly. That's
Yeah.
something that has to be discussed in a longer episode, just because it's just so important to understand that we need to be good young leaders in the culture we live in today.
Yeah, and it's hard because there's a lot of influence on you. So
Yeah. And really, the way that my dad said it a lot of times is, and this goes with like why it's important for young leaders, because young leaders is what builds the culture. I've heard my dad and other people say it this way. It's like the culture isn't set by the leaders, it's set by the people inside that group.
Yeah.
So like the culture of a place isn't set by the person in charge, it's set by the people that are buying into it. Like you can set the standard, but you can't set that entire culture because you can't force people to buy into it.
Yeah.
So really, I think that's why it's so important for young leaders, because without that culture and people buying into it, you don't have young leaders, and that's just the way it is.
yeah.
I think kind of just another thing is like young leaders it's hard today because it's very judgmental
Yeah.
in our culture, and I think that's one thing that we'll definitely talk about in another episode. Is like you have to be able to get over the people that are judgmental and that are going to be, because I mean, young leaders, this is like just something that's true, is you're going to lose people in your life if you step out in your faith and you take a stand. You will lose people no matter what, and it's kind of something that is just bound to happen. I think it was Micah this past Wednesday at First Wednesday talked about that, like, and I think also Chris Flegg a couple weeks ago, he said, you know, if you take that stand, you're going to lose people in your life, and it's going to be because they judge you. And I think it's so important to understand that it's not a bad thing because God has that plan. Like,
Yeah. And like what goes with that is you're also going to gain a lot more people
Yeah.
that are going to be with you like every step of the way.
rather gain a family than lose some friends.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
Yeah.
good. Off the top.
Yeah. What's like your favorite thing about leadership?
I think it's seeing the impact you can make, because one person can change so many people.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
Yeah.
I think like for me, it's like seeing the people that you like value a lot and that you work with a lot and that you try to lead, like seeing those people step out into their calling or into their faith more and like seeing them grow is so rewarding, because it's just like you get to watch that. Like for me, Motion Conference, like a lot of people that I know, like we've tried to help and like lead and guide. I think seeing a lot of them step out in their faith and calling was just so awesome, because like it's so rewarding and it's just like why you do it.
Yeah, and there was 15,000 kids there,
Yeah.
all lifting their hands, and that's,
Yeah.
which was crazy.
I think from our group we had
Yeah.
32 get baptized.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, just
In the pool.
Yeah, in the hotel pool.
at the hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just something that like you won't ever forget the memories you have in
Yeah.
leadership. I think that's what makes being a young leader so rewarding and so fun. It's just like when you buy into it, you're gonna lose people, but you'll gain the memories and friends that you have forever.
It's very rewarding.
Rewarding. Yeah. So like, what else do you have? Like, you don't have anything else like young leaders, like, kind of like what you would like describe?
I would describe Joe Burrow as sucks. He did terrible.
Is he a young leader?
Yeah,
Joe Burrow's a young leader.
He's a young
I
leader.
mean, yeah.
But he's a bad young leader.
Bad young leader.
No.
My brain still hurts from Red Zone.
I don't think y'all understand.
Yeah.
There's so much going on the TV.
I don't know how y'all watch that like every Sunday. I can't.
Yeah. I mean, and today's NFL games were so like
They were so
I
bad.
mean,
It was like at least 15 field goals. Like
yeah.
They were all just
I mean,
field goals.
like field goal, touchdown, fumble, interception, block punt.
It's so scripted.
Lamar fumbled.
Lamar fumbles like 3 times.
Yeah.
I mean, just
It wasn't
nuts.
NFL.
Yeah,
They're all scripted.
Yeah, there's-
Every game's scripted.
script.
There's no way that was like.
This is
It was so fake.
guys. Unlike the NFL, this podcast
It's real.
is real.
Yeah.
We didn't practice
authentic.
at all before this. so.
We did not practice at
But
all.
it took us like 20 tries to get this setup
Oh.
working.
He had the mic plugged in the wrong way.
Guys,
We tested it.
we
8
tested the
times.
mic 8 times. We got here at 3 o'clock. It is 4:41.
Yeah, but we're getting it done.
We're getting it done. For
Speaking
you
of,
guys.
shout out to Chris Vague.
Chris Flake,
Yeah.
yes,
Like
he is going to be partnering with us, and so he's going to help us get our podcast out there and just help promote it. And so, big thank you to Chris.
And then we don't know if this is gonna be our permanent setup yet, so
Yeah, we're hoping.
just be flexible.
Yep,
Yeah.
we're hoping that we're going to get some cool stuff, and
Yeah.
we're hoping that we can take the pod on the road a little bit.
Yeah.
So we want. I believe, from what we talked about today, I believe that we're going to have a setup that's mobile.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be able to film this in some really cool places
Academy,
no,
Panda Express.
no. If y'all don't know, we used to make
Oh yeah,
videos.
let's tell them about this.
We used to make videos before this,
Yeah.
just like on my iPhone, just going around Academy or going to get food, and we literally would just be dumb. And
Yeah.
we were just having fun.
Yeah.
But we have like 30 something videos of just us being dumb. But
Yeah.
Might have to release them.
no, we're
No.
not releasing those videos.
So, and like that, I think that's part of the thing. Like, it ties in like those memories.
Yeah.
Like all tie into young leadership because like
Yeah.
you have that bond. Like for us, we have so many different people that we bond with, and it's just like rewarding. Like those moments and memories are just so rewarding, and it's been a fun ride. We
Yeah.
have a lot of fun, guys.
we have a lot
But
of fun stories
We
too.
we do want, and you're gonna hear some stories on the podcast. Like we'll be talking about stuff and tell some stories. But we want to back to like talking about mobile podcast. We want to take this to like Motion Conference next year and like
That'd be cool.
a bunch of different other stuff. Like take it on the road. Maybe film one like outside. Not right now. We're not filming outside right now. It's probably 100 degrees. It's getting cooler. It is going to be in the 80s and 70s this week.
Thank
But
you, Jesus.
yes, thank you, Jesus.
Jesus Cristo.
Jesus Christ.
We learned that in Mexico.
What else did you learn?
Actually,
is it?
so when we were in Mexico, we
Oh,
went.
yeah.
We were doing invite
Talking about
cards.
young leadership. We got some characters.
we went to Mexico, like we said, and we were handing out these invitations, and they made us do it, and we speak no Spanish,
Yeah.
and we were actually doing pretty good, and then I fumbled so bad.
What was it?
I was like, I said good afternoon as like a goodbye.
No, you said good morning.
Oh
As
yeah,
goodbye.
yeah,
Oh god.
and it was
Yeah.
like 5 at night. And she looked at us so weird.
Yeah. And I mean Mexico was a blast.
It was very.
Dude,
cool.
I think we need to do a whole nother episode just on Mexico.
Yeah,
There's
that's
so much we can talk
impact,
about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
stories.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna do one on Mexico, but if you guys ever have the chance to take a mission trip, do it.
Dude.
We should next year when we go to Mexico take the pod on the road,
that would be fun.
film an episode in Mexico. But like, you guys give us some suggestions. Like, where do you want to see us film a podcast?
Be
like,
reasonable.
or if
Don't
you
be
just-
like in
don't
outer
be
space.
crazy. Like, don't be like go film it on the roof at Chick-fil-A. Like,
Or if you just like this setup.
or
tell
yeah,
us.
if you like
Yeah.
this setup, we got a nice little portable setup here. But also give us suggestions on what you want us to talk about. I know we already have a couple of different topics for our first few episodes, but we would love to hear what you guys have to say. So go and like comment on our Instagram or on the videos, or we'll probably make polls on Spotify
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Just answer those and like go comment on all that, and that way we know like what you guys want to hear about, and that way we can kind of build it off. This is just like an intro, like talking about
Yeah.
what is a young leader, and us just kind of having fun. You guys get to know us a little bit. Obviously, we're having some fun with it.
And I feel like that question is like the base question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was just a real, like, we didn't go too deep today. It was kind of just like talk about a couple different things and just have a little bit of fun. One thing I do want to say though, I was looking a minute ago, and we'll probably put this on another episode too, but I just wanted to say it now because I was thinking about it. Chad Veach again, guys. Chad Veach is our guy, if you don't know. Talking about young leaders, and this is just something that you guys, this will probably end up on an Instagram reel. Young leaders, you don't have to be perfect, but you have to meet your standard, and you have to set a standard for yourself.
Yeah.
And you have to up your stakes in being excellent and just have strong character, and that's straight from Chad Veach, not from me.
Excuse me.
You're good. But yeah, just you don't have to be perfect. You just have to meet your standard, and then don't go for perfection. Just go for excellence and go for being the best that you can be at a full capacity. And don't try to be perfect. Just try to be what God's called you to be.
Yeah, we try to pursue excellence, so
Yeah,
that's one of our
one
things
of our values.
at City Hope. So
And there's gonna be times when like you mess up, something happens,
Yeah.
but just bounce back, you know.
Yeah, excellent. Like the best. I think I don't remember who said it. It might have been Jensen Franklin or somebody else. They said pressure is good for you. Pressure molds you. Pressure doesn't make you pressure doesn't make you fold. It actually forms you into who you're
Yeah.
going to be. And so I think it's just important to understand that when you mess up, it's okay. Keep going and just pursue excellence. And also, you talked about how that's a value. It's so important to have values. So just have values in whatever you do as a young leader. It's so important to have values. And
Yeah, and when you have values as a person yourself, then we like to say it'll drip. So it'll drip down onto other people, or again, another way of saying it'll rub onto other people.
Yeah.
So they do those values with you. So
Yeah, and you always have something to like look back on.
Yeah, that's always just part of being a young leader, is having those values, and then that, just those values alone, and you living by those values make an impact on somebody, and you might not even know.
Yeah.
And so I think that's just so important. But I mean, we've had a lot of fun.
We did.
First episode. We hope
Almost
you guys
5.
enjoyed.
Yeah.
we have a party to go to in
We
like
have
30
a
minutes.
dream team party.
Yeah.
So this was just the first episode. Like we said, we want to just give you guys a basis of what is a young leader, and then also have some fun so you guys get to know our personalities a little bit.
Yeah.
But we're going to start diving deeper next episode. I think next episode I have the topic pulled up because I think this is also something that you guys asked for. How to be a young leader, or like what makes you a young leader. That's kind of what we're talking about next episode, and then you guys just keep making some suggestions, and we're gonna go from there. And just we're gonna talk about what you guys want us to talk about, because that's what we're here for. We're here for you guys, not for ourselves. Although we will grow as we do this, but we are here for you guys. And so
Yeah, make sure you don't miss next week's. It's gonna be good.
next week's will be good. You guys got anything else?
Don't forget to follow us on at 412
412.
Leadership
Yeah.
on Instagram, Spotify, YouTube.
So,
Yep.
Yep.
And just thank you guys for watching.
Yep.
You know, final
Thank you.
comments.
Nothing. I'm excited.
Yeah.
We're excited,
We're
guys.
excited, yeah.
First episode. We're
We
just
might
super
seem a little
excited.
nervous because it's our first time.
Yeah.
But promise we're excited.
Yeah. So this was just basis, and we hope you guys enjoyed it. We are so glad that you guys are tuning in, and we just super excited about this and can't wait to keep it going. That's all we have for you guys today. Thank you
All right.
guys. We'll see y'all later.
Bye.
Thank you.